Welcome back to the apartment. My name is Ali Baluch. Missing is my co-host Asif Ali. He's currently doing his stand-up comedy tour. If you want to see Asif perform live, the dude's hilarious. He has a hilarious bit. If you want to watch Asif do stand-up comedy live, follow his social media, his Twitter, his Facebook, his Instagram. It's all at Ali Comedy. And he posts dates and he posts whenever he goes up. He's hilarious. I love watching him. And for first-time viewers and people who are just tuning in, welcome. This is the apartment. It's our chance to sit with our favorite diverse content creators, influencers, athletes, actors, musicians. And, we focus on diversity a lot here. And we like to just talk about their background, their come up, their inspiration, their journey, and just anything they've learned along the lines. And you know what? Now I think in the next few episodes we're going to put out, I want to be more topical. I want to have more conversations on topics. I like to hear people's opinions on things. So not this episode. I mean, this episode we dabble in it like in our past episodes, and definitely check out our past episodes. Last week's episode with Yusuf Ericat, FouseyTube. The week before that with Alex Wasabi. No, actually Alex was last. Last week was Alex. Then it was Fousey, and then we had Spoozy, or was it Swoozy? Yusuf. I don't know. Whoever the order is, check it out. This is episode 28. We have Simmi Singh on this episode. She is this really dope, funny, hard worker, YouTuber. So you're going to really enjoy this episode. Before we get started, I have about 3 announcements to make, right? Announcement number 1, to all my Muslims out there, Eid Mubarak. I hope you guys are enjoying your day. Hope you guys had a great day yesterday. And for those who are celebrating today, hope it's going well. Second announcement, this Thursday, I'm going to be hosting a panel with HBO, and they're partnering with the Asian Pacific American Visionary Short Film Competition. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to screen 3 of the short film winners, and the films are streaming on HBO Go right now. So we're going to screen the 3 short films, and then I'm going to interview and lead the panel discussion with the filmmakers. It's a free event. The link is going to be in the description. Please come out. Please. It's it'd be great to see you guys. It's going to be at the Arena Cine Lounge. So come through Thursday night, RSVP, be there, heckle me, do something. And our last and third announcement, shout out to Adidas. I don't have any log lines because Asif's not here. So go ahead, check out Adidas, go on their website. I think they have a sale right now. So cop your Adidas swag. And you never know, maybe in the future there might be like some Adidas apartment partnership merch. Who knows? I don't know. I hope so. Anyway, enjoy this episode. It's episode 28, I believe, with Simmi Singh. You good? Are you comfortable?
I'm great. I'm very hungry. And I'm sorry to say that in front of you, but I'm starved.
No, dude, it's fine. You know, one thing a lot of people...
Yesterday, I got through yesterday.
You got through yesterday?
Yeah.
When people who don't, or like non-Muslims, are like, oh, I'm so sorry to eat in front of you. I'm like, no, it's fine, dude. Like, I'm not going to... I went through high school with kids being like, oh, this burger's delicious. You sure you don't want... Oh, yeah, you can't, right, bro? Oh, damn, you sure? God's not watching.
Oh, that's so mean.
Yeah, I was like, if I survive that, I can like survive a guy eating like a hot dog or whatever, or just complaining about hunger. It's not like it's gonna...
I did that in college though, where it was like my best friend Kenny and I, we're sitting down, and this is when he first started Ramadan. It was the first day, and he was like, "I'm so hungry," and I was like, I didn't ask. I was like, "Why don't you just eat?" Right? So I was like, "Okay." So I started eating. He's like, and he actually voices the fact that he hates when people eat in front of him. So he like looked at him. He's like, "Simmi, effing hate you," blah blah blah. And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "How are you gonna eat in front of me? I'm doing Ramadan." And I was like, "Oh," and then from then on, I started doing Ramadan with him.
Oh, that's so nice to you.
Yeah, 4 years.
Now, was this the guy you were seeing?
No, one of my best friends.
Okay.
No.
I didn't...
Why would you give me that look? Like, why would you ask her that?
We're not even rolling yet.
I know, but like, hold on, can you just get as close as you can?
Yes.
Okay. No, it's... I mean, like, I wouldn't even do that for a friend. But then again, it says...
That's true. You wouldn't do a lot of things.
Yeah, but I mean, it says who you... Okay, so...
Yeah.
No, it's I find that weak when people complain. I'm not saying that your friend is weak, but like, I don't
Sorry,
know.
Kenny.
No, no
Sorry,
shots.
Ken.
No
Sorry, Ken, we
shots.
put you out there.
Yeah.
No shots or no shade towards Ken or Kenny, man. But like because a lot of my friends were like my cousins, or some of them, not all of them. I know they're watching now. They're like, no, we're not. They're gonna text me. But like a lot of people I grew up with were like that, where they're like, oh, don't eat in front of me. I'm fasting. And it's like, come on, dude, don't like screw somebody else's meal up just because you decided to take a spiritual journey, you know?
Oh, that's
and
beautiful.
it's like, I don't want to like, I don't know. It's like forcing your religion on somebody where
Yeah.
it's like, yo, I'm struggling here. You got to struggle with me.
Yeah.
And I feel like people do that with life too. It's like, if I'm suffering, I want you to suffer.
Yeah.
And anything.
That's like your whole brand, though.
That is. That is. Anyway, let's get into this.
Hey, Zane.
Okay, let's do it.
Hey,
Don't
Zane.
don't
Hey,
insult
Asif.
don't
Hey, Zane.
don't insult don't insult him. Don't insult
Don't do that to
Zane.
him.
Anyway, so today we have Simmi Singh. You know, I feel bad
Why?
because I made some racist remarks a couple years ago where I was
What'd you
asking
say?
you, I was like, is Simmi short for something? Simmi Jeet, Simmi Preet.
Uh-huh.
And then she made a video about that.
Ooh.
And
So
she-
many people tagged you in
Yeah.
it. It was so funny.
Oh, no.
and which is fine. I like, you know, I should be called out
Yeah.
on that stuff.
No, but I did it. It was people that called you out, and it was cool.
No,
that, like,
no,
it
no,
was,
but
you know,
but I'm like, I think if someone says something offensive, someone should be called out for it, you know. And but yeah, okay. So Simmi Singh,
So I'm saying.
she is an actor, a dancer, a martial artist, and a YouTuber.
That's so many things.
She is
Most
like,
people can, it's hard enough for them to be like one.
it's hard enough just to be a decent person.
Exactly.
To boxing too.
Okay, well, we'll throw that into the martial arts. You
Bring
know?
it in there.
Wow.
Yeah, she's a boxer. For the past few years, she's worked closely with Yusuf and I, and she was into fashion. She had her own fashion line, and she worked with a personal stylist for.
I didn't have my own fashion line.
I thought you did. You swore.
No.
You were like-
first of all, no, I was just a stylist.
Okay, but
So-
then you were like, "Oh, I have interns working for me. I'm working."
Yeah, but it was I had a stylist, like it was in
It wasn't fashion line.
It was in my line. Maybe in the future, definitely in the future, but not right now.
Okay, so
wow.
break that down. What was that?
It was
So wait, before you get that, we'll hop real quick. So you come to LA and you're working with a stylist.
I'm working with basically a girl. She had her boutique. She was one of my friends from Florida, and I met her in Beverly Hills. She had a place in Beverly Hills, and
Damn, you
I
just
just
like
ended up
just ran
just
into her.
ended
in
up
Beverly-
yeah, I
Wow.
did, and then I ended up working for her, and I was her assistant, and basically I built clientele through there. So I would style people while I was there. Built clientele.
How do you do that? How do you build clientele? I like do you like
Well-
cold call or?
No, people would come in and
And
they
be like,
wanted
"Yo."
to be dressed for a wedding or
Yeah.
they wanted to be whatever. And then, once they saw like what I was able to do for them at that time, it was just word of mouth from there. Like, oh, go to this girl at this boutique. She'll help you.
How do you get them to come back? To be like
Ooh, good
become
question.
regulars.
Well, if they usually came for like a big occasion, like a special occasion,
Yeah.
they would come for particularly that occasion. But then at the end of the day, you give them like maybe a small accessory or something like that they're like, oh, that you could just pin with something else. Like, hey, you don't have to just wear this at your wedding. You can wear this with like jeans or
fine.
something.
Yeah.
And then, then they come back and it's if they like your personality and stuff and they feel like you've helped them in
Yeah.
some way and they feel comfortable about themselves, they're going to come back, you know?
Do you ever have someone come in where you're like, I can't help you?
No, I try to usually, like, I always tried to find a way to help them. Like, there's people that, because it was Beverly Hills, right? So it was
Yeah.
Beverly Hills housewives. They would come in and then, like, I get requests like, I don't like my ankles, but I like my calves. And it's like, how do you cover that, So, like, things like that. I don't
Get a
like
nice
the color
sock.
of my knees and strappy heels, like, things like that, So you just have to know, like, what they're comfortable with.
Yeah. I couldn't do that, man.
People
I feel like
surprisingly.
some people, I'm like, that's just, you just want to look like that.
Yeah. I like, I guess everyone has their strengths. I can't.
But if
give-
they're coming to a stylist, I'm guessing that they're like open to.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and I think like as soon as like they would walk in and stuff, and they kind of told me what they were dressing up
Yeah.
for, or what they wanted to be styled for, I would ask like what they're comfortable with, what colors they like, what they're not comfortable with, like wearing and stuff like that. Like everybody, especially women, like we all have our, you know, there's parts of our bodies we like, parts of our bodies we, you know, hide for now and like work on later.
Men too. Let's not, you know, just like we have our insecurities.
Well, I styled mostly
Why
women.
would you put
What's
me?
yours? What's yours?
No,
What's
man,
yours?
I'm not gonna
What's
talk
yours,
about
man?
my insecurities.
Let's talk about your
It's
insecurities.
his fucking
Zane?
his fat ass ankles.
Do you have fat ankles?
No.
I was gonna say I don't
No,
think
he
that-
doesn't. No, he doesn't.
I'm comfortable with my ankles. Surprisingly, a lot of people don't like their ankles. I've noticed that. I've heard a lot of people
Really?
are very self-conscious about their ankles. I don't get that. What about the like the ankles are like the last thing I would ever look at somebody.
I don't know, man.
I think because a lot of times ankles taper down at the end, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like it's your leg, and then you just, some people have really, really small, skinny ankles. So I feel
Yeah.
like that's another insecurity that just happens. It's like
Yes, I mean,
it's like an upside down A.
Yeah.
sure,
line.
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, like recently I've just put on some weight, but not
Guys,
like
I'm gonna
healthy
figure
weight.
this out, and I'm gonna tweet about it.
No,
Hashtag
mine,
Ali's weakness.
I'm actually.
How do you feel about your ankles?
I like my ankles. I
Good.
really do. But the
Good.
only thing I am
First of all, I'm
subconscious.
sorry. That felt like such a weird
Oh,
fetish
you're a
question.
goddamn
Yeah.
creep, and now we have it on tape.
No, there's so many people that have a foot fetish.
Yeah,
It's really
I'm not
weird.
one of them.
I'm
You know
not
what's
one of
I'm
them
just
either.
putting that out
I
I
there.
hate
feel like
feet.
there's a fetish about everything.
True.
There has to be.
True.
Really?
I'm
Oh,
100% certain there's a
dude,
fetish
there
about
True,
it.
true,
Like
true.
whatever, like phone cases. Someone's
True,
jerking
true,
off
true,
to phone
true.
cases.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
God.
a fetish for everything. It's the internet. It's
Yeah,
the internet, man.
That's true. I mean, look, I've had for the show I work on MTV Ridiculousness.
So cool. First of all,
There's
that
some
was the coolest
right?
thing,
No,
yeah.
there's some categories that we have to like. So the way it works is like these writers will come up with these categories, and it's like, oh, like whatever type of fetish, and then we gotta like work on the clips that fit those categories. And there's one fetish where men bathe in manure,
Get the fuck out of here.
and then they pleasure themselves in a bath of like cow shit.
So they go and get manure from like Home Depot. or
It's
some shit?
usually no, it's usually they'll dive into septic tanks,
No.
Yes.
I'm blowing them up.
and I've had to watch that, and I'm like, I'm not like some of them. You see for one frame, and you're like, I don't need to see the rest, and then you try to skip through but then they literally, some of them would put on masks so they are not identified, so they can have a normal life. They can go back to their
Afterwards, yeah.
they can be accountants again after they rinse the poop off.
Does it feel weird to you that in like the back of your mind you're like, man, this is paying my rent?
Oh no, 100%. Every time I'm watching this, and I'm just like, these guys are keeping me alive right now. So
Jeez. What were you doing in Florida? What would you do for work? I feel like you've had
you've
10,000 jobs.
you've
I
came in,
did.
you've come up through a lot. Okay, let's begin with Florida.
Yeah.
Okay,
You were born there?
okay, where in Florida?
So I was born in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale.
Isn't that like a
There.
college town?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Really? I
there is
thought
a college
all the
there, though.
parties and the wildness.
That happened in my college that I went to, University of Florida. That was a college town. It's Gainesville, Florida.
Yeah.
Just
I went there 2 months ago.
I did stand
For
up
what?
there.
I did like a talk there.
Oh.
Yeah.
You don't know him. He does
so
talks.
cool.
Yeah,
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 you
yeah.
just
Does
walk in and
talks.
you just talk about it.
No,
He's
yeah.
like, find me a small market. I'll do it.
Shout
there.
out
Yeah.
to Miss. They had me out there. I
Yeah.
talked about like white supremacy in media and stuff and
Of
whatnot.
course.
Of course.
Of
What?
course.
What?
It's so cool though that you do stuff like
Right?
that. I think
It's
that's
great.
super cool. I
No,
have to
it-
come to one of your shows though. I have to watch one
Oh,
of your
right.
like stand up where you yell at comedy at,
That's all
at
I
people.
do, baby.
So okay, so you were born
Born in Fort
and
Lauderdale,
raised
Florida.
in Fort
Fort
Lauderdale.
Lauderdale.
Big
Florida,
family?
Yeah. Yeah, so I have an older sister, 2 younger brothers, mom and dad, and then my grandparents on my dad's side live with us as well.
Okay.
So there's
Wow.
8. There was always 8 in the house.
Wow,
And
that
then a puppy.
That's
How'd
a proper like
Yeah.
village household.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Indian village household,
everyone's
yeah.
here.
did you enjoy that?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I'm used to like living like that. You wake up and someone's always home. Or
Yeah.
like you wake up and like there's 4 people at the the breakfast
That's the
table, and I
best.
love
Always
it. I love
the
it.
best.
It's the best
Always
feeling.
food.
It's the best. Oh my
Yeah.
god, best feeling ever.
We'll come back so you can finish, but like jump like years later, you're waking up alone in a studio apartment.
Oh,
or
don't make
one
it sound that
bedroom.
depressing. Jesus
No,
Christ.
it's actually I was.
How'd that feel?
Like when I moved to California, the hardest thing wasn't like, adjusting to California life.
Yeah.
It was literally the fact that I was alone.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anyone here.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
friends, no family, nothing, And that was actually one of the reasons I moved to California, because I was like, it's away from comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because I could have moved to New York and my entire mom's side of the family is there. And my mom actually preferred me move
Yeah,
there. But
yeah.
I was like, no, I'm moving to Cali. Moved here and that was the hardest adjustment for me, was waking up by myself to myself. And that was it. You know, like even in college, like roommates or like your brother, like my brother and I, we were roommates for a year, my senior year, and loved it. You know, like his girlfriend, like everybody would just be there. We had a puppy, and it was always people, and like now it's just being alone. You know, but you adjust to that. But that was the hardest adjustment, I think, for sure for me.
100. Same for me. Once I left home and I went to Chicago, it was like you wake up and like you're used to hearing like the TV or your parents talking, or like you smell the food being breakfast, and then you wake up and it's just like silence. No
You're
one's
like,
talking.
damn, man, I gotta make breakfast.
Yeah. And then but then when you go home, it's like the best feeling.
Best feeling ever, and you appreciate it that much more. Because you know how it is without it.
So you grew up in this
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale, in a very like warm, cozy family. Lifestyle.
And then when I was 6, we moved to Orlando, Florida. My parents were taking their business to Orlando. And then
what was the business?
Restaurant.
Oh,
Indian
nice.
restaurant,
Cool.
North Indian restaurant.
Did they open a second shop, or they just
same?
Okay.
So they had Kebab Indian restaurant in Florida. I mean, in Miami, Florida. It was North Miami Beach is where they had it. And then, but it was like a family restaurant. So it was my dad's 2 older sisters and their husbands, and like everybody opened one together because they all moved here. And then after that whole situation, like, you know, where everybody needs to separate because now they have kids, and like they realize, you know, we need more money. So then my dad's oldest sister got to keep that restaurant. So my dad ended up moving to Orlando with his younger sister. And then stuff happened there. And so my dad was like, okay, I'm just going to get out of here instead of having bad vibes and moving forward with life. I have 4 kids. So they decided to move to Ocala, Florida. And but they took, so my sister's 5 years older than me, and she was a teenager at the time. She had just turned 13, hormones, teenager. It was her first kid. They're like,
teenagers are the worst.
They're like, we have to send her to India. She has to be educated in India.
Why?
Because they just felt like discipline, and they'll learn more about the culture. We were growing up not Indian, not much. You know, like there wasn't a lot of culture. Because my parents, I guess they felt the need to speak English to us when, you know, we were first going to school. So we weren't like left behind.
Did you have a community there?
No.
Okay. So it was just your family were the only...
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
And then there wasn't a lot of Indian people around at the time. So they just
sent your sister?
No,
alone,
actually,
or...
No. So they told... Sorry, Mom and Dad. They told my sister and I and all of our family that we were going on a vacation to India.
Oh, shit.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We get there, and I'm 8. I don't know what's happening. Okay. And to this day, like, if someone's doing something, I'm like, I don't
How
question it.
How old is your older sister?
She was 13 at the time. Now she's 33.
Okay.
She's getting married, actually.
Hey, congrats.
Oh, congrats.
So crazy.
Yeah.
The whole thing is whatever. But anyways, thank you. So they took us to India. We're on vacation. Next thing I know, I'm being, you know, measured and stuff. And I was like, oh, we're just getting clothes from India. That's cool. 8 years old, I didn't care. I was just trying to play with like little kids outside. Like, it's cool. And then my dad shows me the school as, you know, we're driving by, and he's like, hey, Simmi, what do you think about the school? I was like, Dad, it's pretty. It was a church, and like right next to it was a Catholic school. And I was like, you know, they thought it would be easier for us to adjust to that because they would speak a little bit more English and blah blah blah. Yeah. So we're like, okay, cool. And my dad's like, I was like, it's a really cool school. That's great. It's just all white. That's great. And then we get home, whatever, and the next day, I think it was 2 days before my parents were supposed to leave. The next day, I'm being, you know, fitted into a like school outfit again. I didn't know. I was wearing a skirt and a you know, button down. I was like, this is really cool, whatever.
You didn't know it was a uniform.
I didn't know it was a uniform. I was like, this is cool. I'm wearing a tie.
Are
and
we
like
starting
a belt.
A band now or something? This is very cool.
I was like, I'm down. I get to, you know, still sleepy, 7:30 in the morning, whatever. Yeah. I'm being handed a book bag. We park in front of this place. I'm being handed this like square book bag, right, where all my books and stuff are in there, and they're like, here, go.
Get in there.
And I was like. And I didn't know, so I just looked at my sister. My sister knew. She's 13. She's like, obviously this is happening, whatever. They probably talked to her. I don't know.
Was she really bummed about it?
I mean, I think she was at first, but she also felt that she had to take care of me because I didn't know what was happening. And I'm not one of those people that like say much. Yeah. You know, I'll just cry it out, like whatever. Yeah. And so that I realized what was happening, and then I looked at my sister because I was a little puzzled. I was like, wait. And then she's like, Sim, let's go. And I looked at my dad. I was like, wait, Dad, aren't we supposed to like go back to America? Like, what's happening? You know? And he's like, no, Sim, your brothers and your mom and I were gonna go back for a little bit, and then we'll come back, you know. But you guys are gonna go to school here, and grandparents are gonna stay with you guys. And we're like, okay, the first month I cried every time I went to
yeah.
school. Every time I came back, I was like, this is BS. Like, you guys, I didn't understand it, and I thought I did
course.
something wrong.
Did you lash out at all in school?
No, I was.
okay.
You couldn't lash out.
You're like, hey guys, I love you guys, and go home. Like,
no,
They-
you couldn't lash out in India, in
No.
Indian schools.
They'll lash you.
Yes,
Beat
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
so much.
Okay.
I got hit so much the first
Why did your
month or
brothers
two.
miss the cut?
Okay, so they missed the cut, right?
Dad's like, nah, these dudes are cool. I like hanging out.
Yeah,
with them.
he's like, no, I
Get
need the
outta here."
boys. I need the boys. No, double standard. No, it wasn't that. They went back and they were like too young to like
Okay.
be in India at the moment, and actually go to school. The youngest one was super young, and so then, but my middle brother, the one who's right under me,
Yeah.
he actually he came back. My grandma brought him back to India or whatever, and he was there for a year going
Okay.
to school there.
Yeah.
So it was like my older sister and my older sister went to school there for 3 years. I went for 4, and then my youngest brother was there for a year.
What city was this in?
It's half an hour from Jalandhar. That's what most people know, but it's
Okay.
called Fagwara.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Oh.
yeah.
So you did that for how long?
I was there for 4 years. Wow. Yeah.
Did you feel like you were escaping Shawshank when you got to come back home?
No, I actually got used to it. I
Okay.
think I got really used
You
to
don't-
it.
Because
Did
you were
you-
young enough where you're like, I'm accustomed.
Because
Yeah.
when you're 8 and then you're all of a sudden you're 12 years old and you spent like
13 is tough though. Your
Yeah.
sister must have been like,
Yeah,
I'm
she
missing
had to
out
adjust.
the prime of
Yeah.
my teenage years.
Yeah, she came back in high school, her
Yeah.
junior year in high school. So she had an adjustment for sure to make.
Yeah.
I came back in 7th. Well, I skipped 6th grade. I came back 7th grade.
Shout outs to just skipping. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, good for you. Yeah.
I could have skipped 7 too.
Damn.
Because in
Okay.
India, they just like,
Yeah.
Damn.
They jam it
you're
all.
doing
yeah.
physics in 6th grade.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. No,
And
yeah.
without calculators.
Mhm.
You're doing sine, cosine, freaking
Yeah.
tangent without calculators. You're just sitting there, piece of paper and pen,
Yeah.
pencil. And my sister was doing that in 6th grade. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize, like, I just thought as a kid I did something wrong, so my parents, didn't want me in there
Yeah.
or whatever. And then, as I grew older, I was like, whatever, it's fine, whatever. And then when I came back when I was 12, turning 13, went to 7th grade. My adjustment was a little different. My sister's was, I can't even imagine adjusting in high school,
Yeah.
coming back. But for me, it was kind of like a transition, just
Yeah.
kind of happened,
Yeah.
The only weird thing that I thought was weird was in 7th grade when my math teacher asked me to use a calculator for fractions, and I just kind of looked at her like, I just did this in my head. I don't know what, And after that, like, she was like, there's a button for fractions, and then if
Yeah.
you hit it twice, it's a mixed fraction. And I was like, I don't need
Good.
to use it, right? But
I'm Matilda.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I was like,
Do
okay.
this.
But from there on is where I just got weirded out because I was like, oh, they're letting us use
Why are we
calculators.
so stupid? Why is the American educational system so trash?
It's
I don't know.
By the time I got to college, like now I can't do anything. I like pull out my phone and
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
what
yeah.
is 20% of this? Like
Yeah.
I can't just do that in my head,
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like that just brought me down by a lot.
Damn.
I don't know
It's
what
okay.
it is, man.
How
But-
was that in India? Did you come back every so often? Did
No,
you visit?
I was I
4
came,
years straight.
No, I came back after 2 years I was supposed to come back and live here.
Yeah.
Back, just 2 years
Yeah.
of education. They were like, okay, they know their languages, like
Yeah.
Hindi, Punjabi. I knew
Yeah.
how to read and write as well. So
Yeah.
they were like, okay, they're good. They're disciplined. They know
Yeah.
to do their homework all the time and like, not be bad kids, whatever. We came back, and then my grandma, on my dad's side has, her things with my mom. They have
Yeah.
like issues,
Yeah.
because-
as every family does.
yeah,
As every family
exactly.
does,
So they had a little fight. I was in school, actually. I was in 3rd grade in Ocala, Florida. We had moved to Ocala already when I came back from India. And Shady Hill Elementary. So I'm sitting there, in school, whatever. I
Yeah.
come back, and my bags are packed. And this was, I think, 2 months into going to school. My bags are freaking packed, and I'm like, I don't know where we're going.
God.
But at that point, I just didn't care. Because
Yeah.
I was like, it's India. I'll adjust. It's fine. Like,
Yeah.
I've been there. I know what it's like. I know the house. I know
Yeah.
the neighborhood. And where our house was, it was in the middle of a bazaar. So it
That's
was
kinda
just,
cool.
yeah, it was our
Yeah.
house, and then these like lawyers, they stayed
Yeah.
in front of us, and then everything else was a bazaar that my grandpa owned. So
Wow.
you could go to any shop and like, everybody knew you. So it was like kind of like a family there too, So
Yeah.
I would just walk outside and just like, go eat like,
Yeah.
pani puri somewhere
Yeah.
or like drink, Fanta or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
It was fine. It was fun.
Damn.
So as a kid, it's fun.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
like also, but I learned a lot. I didn't realize the importance of all of that or like, how it benefited me until I went to college. And then when I went to college, I realized how cultured or how different I was compared to like my friends, like subtitles versus me actually knowing what the movies are saying, and like things like that, or like they're missing jokes and they're like, hey, what was that again? And like just
Yeah.
things like that. Just knowing where my parents came from, knowing where my grandparents came from, actually witnessing all of that, like I didn't know that that's something that was beneficial. But it's, you know, we connect in a different way.
100%.
With our families.
So the relations you had with other Indian American students, it was like you understood the context of these cultural references.
100%.
That these other kids who were born, raised, who never really left.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And just like, you know, our grandparents don't speak English.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, my grandpa, it's like broken English. My grandma, absolutely not. But we're able to connect with them in a whole different way just because we know their background. We know where they came from. We know, you know, what village they were in, you know. We know how they lived and like what their struggles were. And we actually were able to listen to their stories and actually feel like we were there, you know. And they felt like they can connect with us in a different way. So I think 100%.
So whatever your parents did worked. It was great.
Yeah.
So all these, like, you know, people that are like, don't send your kids back to us, third world. But it's like, no. Because my little sister, same thing. My little sister was 13, 14, and she spent about 3-4 years in Afghanistan, and she went to this international school in Kabul, and she loved it. And she speaks Farsi, Dari better than any of us and her friends. And yeah, I think just to be there, it just really helps with that identity that people struggle with, you know?
And even Lily, actually, her parents were visiting her, and this is when we all lived in Wilshire. And Lily was telling her parents, she was introducing me, and she was like, probably one of the best Punjabi speaking people you'll know, blah, blah, blah. You know, so it was kind of cool. Like, I connected with them on a different level as well.
Yeah.
So I think it was just, because wherever they were from, they were telling me, and I knew exactly where that was. And like, you know, it's like the village right next to my, you know, grandparents where they were living. Yeah, so it's cool.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's different aspect.
So okay, so you come back, you adjust. Was it easy to adjust back into the States?
It was, just because, I mean, there wasn't, you know, I mean, maybe not, because actually around that time was when 9/11 happened. And I wasn't used to racism because I was in India and we're all brown. So like, nothing didn't matter. And then when I came here, I was in 7th grade and 9/11 happened, and I was in class, and I remember that. And at that very moment, I was like, crap, we're effed. You know? And like, I was like, bad time to come back. Like, you know? So adjusting to that and like feeling the racism at that point, that was a little hard to adjust to. Like, I was called like, you know, Osama bin Laden's sister. And I was like, I'm not even.
I'm not even Arab.
I'm like a whole country away. Like, what, you know?
Country, religion,
everything's different. But it was just the fact that I was brown. And, you know, I remember this kid flicking green beans into my hair in the cafeteria and things like that. Like, you know, hey, Osama's sister, like, go back to your country. And I'm like, are you kidding? Green beans are great, especially in like those cafeteria trays. I love them. It's like eating the pizza. I loved it. Stop. 7-Eleven pizza, get out of here.
I do 7-Eleven hot dogs.
Hot dogs are great. But
what the hell is wrong with you people?
Whatever, you eat cafeteria green beans, because I mean, that's worse.
You have to.
You're in jail.
You just put a little bit of like salt and pepper. You're good to go.
That's how I stayed slim all throughout like my grade school days. I never ate.
I always ate.
Anyway, so that was some pretty brutal shit, you know?
But then after that, it was fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
You go to college. What do you study?
So I started off doing business.
Okay.
And I was doing business, and then there was also the pressure. My older sister went to med school. So my older sister was in med school at the time that I was in undergrad. So my parents were like, business, like, where are you headed with that? They're like,
she messed it up for you.
And I told my parents, I was like, corporate law. I'm going to do corporate law. That's why I'm doing business, right? So I was like, cool, I'll get into law school. Great. So then I was like, okay, maybe they want me to do medicine. So I was kind of like trying to, you know, as all brown kids do, you know, trying to,
of course,
you know, please our parents. I even got into the college that they wanted me to go to, University of Florida. Like, they wanted one of their kids to be there. So I was like, sure, I'll be that one, you know? And I got it, whatever, and got my scholarship, everything. Like, whatever they wanted, I did. And it wasn't until I was 25 that I decided to do what I wanted to do. You know, and that was just like, I wanted to pursue a career in acting. And I was like, I just want to get out of there. But anyway, so I was doing business, went into, and then switched it to a health major. Okay. Of course. And then just started doing that and just doubling up in classes and stuff to finish on time, because God forbid that doesn't happen. So, you know, so it was just like stuff like that. But I was very, very, like, I hated college. Like, I love my college life, friends, you know, whatever. But I hated every year of college.
Were you doing anything sort of entertainment or artist?
Dance. I was dancing a lot. I danced and I was doing plays and stuff. But besides that, I was dancing.
What plays did you do?
In the Heights?
No, it was just like student plays, like what they had. It was, I don't even know what I was doing, but it was dance, mostly dance, and I did that a lot. And I think that that's pretty much how I got through college. It was just dancing because that was my outlet. So I did every kind of dance you could think of besides tap. I didn't do tap or swing dancing, but I did everything else.
Why would you?
I just
Tap
but everything else
is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool.
It is cool.
I just can't do that.
I have a friend that did tap dancing when she was younger. And so, like, when she's at parties and shit, she's not wearing tap dancing shoes. She'll just, like, get on a table and start tapping. People get so excited. Even if you don't have tap shoes, they're like, oh, what a performance.
Because you're still kind of, like, creating something up there, you know?
Like, it's so weird. If you take the audio out of tap dancing, it's the weirdest thing.
You know, like, it's not something I do. But
it's hilarious.
Dance was definitely one of those outlets I had.
You spent some time at Best Buy, too.
That was after.
Ooh, let's talk about these jobs.
Okay, yeah. So
I remember the first time that I met her, I was driving her home and we got into this long conversation about like double standard sexism and like.
That was the first time I met Ali, and he was literally talking about like.
You were talking about
religion, like everything.
She was talking about like, there are these like sexist guys at Geek Squad
Oh yeah. That happened.
Okay.
So my first job was obviously my parents. I was waitressing for them for years, like on the weekends, just help out.
Yeah.
Even to this day, we go back and do it.
Usually Indian customers or?
No, actually, the majority of our customers, they're actually white.
Oh, okay.
White horse owning folk.
Farm folks.
Okay, I see what you guys are doing.
They want a hint of that ethnic.
Trying to make that money.
No, because the thing is, my dad doesn't
spice,
do like.
Please.
My dad doesn't.
Ketchup, please, and mayonnaise.
We have ketchup on the side if needed for like the kids eating.
The kids, the kids.
Cheese pakoras. It's like eating chicken nuggets or whatever.
Sure, for the kids, that's what it is
for them.
And the mayonnaise for the adults.
There's ranch, whatever you want. Italian dressing for the
we don't care anymore.
No, my dad doesn't do like, it's not a typical Indian restaurant where there's no like buffets and stuff. Like he doesn't do that. There's like a lunch special, not a buffet. But there's also, he customizes everything according to your order. So I think that's what's appealing to most people. Because it's not like, you just because a vindaloo is supposed to be spicy doesn't mean yours is going to come out spicy.
Right.
If you want it mild, they'll make sure it's mild.
Yeah.
If you don't want dairy in yours, it'll be non-dairy, no salt, whatever, no oil, whatever you want. My dad makes it right there and then. He doesn't make it anymore.
Customizes it to your palate. Okay.
Exactly. So I think that's something that's appealing to most customers, and they'll keep coming back.
What was the name of the restaurant?
Unburnt Palace.
That's nice.
Burnt.
Amrit.
Oh,
no,
Amrit.
Amrit Palace. Unburnt Palace.
Welcome to the Unburnt Palace.
Where your food is unburnt.
Survive the fire. Okay.
Amrit Palace. So that was my first job, and then
you did Geek Squad with them.
You did Geek Squad?
Yeah. So at first, kind of crazy. At first, I was one of the cashiers because that's where they start you off. Operations, that's what they call it. It's cashier right in the front, and then you can move to wherever you want after that if like you qualify. So then I moved to gaming, and then there was an opening in Geek Squad, so I took that one. But I was only there for like a month, and then I left because I was like, you're moving on to the next thing. And then it was American Eagle. Just as a sales associate, and then I moved up to I think that's where the whole fashion thing started for me. I moved to visual assistant manager.
Did you ever get to a point where you just hated people?
No.
Oh, I did Best Buy for like 6 months, and I was like, never again am I working retail. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to deal with people. They're the dumbest people in the world.
I think if you can...
And after that, I never went back.
I don't know if I...
Did you say that? Did you say that as you were applying?
Man, when I was applying, I
hate everybody.
I was like 15, 16.
Yeah.
I just turned 16, and I was like, any type of work, Best Buy would be the greatest because of discounts, and that's why I went in. But then like 2 months in, people are asking me what an iPod is and to explain what, and I'm like, fucking Google it, you idiot. Why are you asking me?
I think I liked places like Best Buy, Bento Cafe, and even American Eagle just because they were always so busy and time went by like this. So
it wasn't like a dead 4
I wasn't
hours.
Like, and like after American Eagle, I worked at CVS as a farm tech. And because, I was going to pharmacy school, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll get experience through this if I like it. If I don't like it, hey, Dad, I hate this. I'm not going to do it, you know? And that was, like, the time where I started, like, understanding. I was like, if I don't like it, I'm not going to do it, you know?
Right.
So then I worked as a farm tech, got that job just so I can have experience, like, over the summer. And I hated it instantly. Like, I went in, and I was like, okay, cool. One day, it's fine. And it was, 9-10 hour shifts. Whatever. Great. Did it as first day I was good, second day I was good, third day I realized I would walk in with like the energy that I have. I just walk in, hey guys, what's up? Yeah. Whatever. And everybody that was already working there would be like, hey Sim, I knew their energy was like here compared to mine. Within 30 minutes I would be right with them, just counting the freaking pills.
Can I tell you something?
And just throwing it in there.
My brother's a pharmacist.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He tells me this every day.
Yeah, and I would see the pharmacist, he just hated it.
It kills me.
Yeah.
Because every day you show up and you're a fucking doctor.
Yep.
And people treat you like you sweep the floors at CVS.
Oh my God.
He's like, every day I want to strangle.
Yeah.
People yell at him like, what the fuck? Why isn't like he tailored their insurance plan?
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't do anything.
He was like, I went to medical school for this.
Fucking school for that. I'm a doctor.
Pharmacy school.
Like
Pharmacy school.
And
he had to learn the periodic table and all of stoichiometry just in his head to take PCAT. Just to take the first exam to get it.
And the career with the highest rate of suicide is pharmacy.
I thought it was dentistry.
It's pharmacy.
Oh my God.
Well,
because I don't know why dentists would really commit suicide.
It's up there.
Yeah.
Those are like the top two. Yeah.
You wouldn't think.
And he's like,
I don't see why dentists would kill themselves.
But it's really up there.
Okay, I'll look into that.
Yeah. But he's like, all I do is just like.
Maybe I should pursue dental.
No, why?
You'd be a great pharmacist. You're like, this is right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, no, I hated it. I even I would watch the pharmacist as I'm like counting pills because they would be right in front of us. I would count the pills and I would just like look up at the pharmacist and they hated their lives. They hated 100%. And they would talk about like the vacations they're going to take in like 9 months or 10 months.
Because you don't get any time,
And I was like, dang, and it's like a 2 week and they're like, yeah, I'm just going to get out of here. I'm so excited,
you
blah,
have
blah,
to.
blah.
Yeah.
And like the only I love human interaction. The only human interaction I had, and I think it's because of the whole growing up thing with people, but the only human interaction I had was me going up to the counter after, counting their pills and getting it checked by the pharmacist, going to the counter and being like, date of birth, first and last name, do you have any questions about your medication? Have a good day. Yeah. Every day for 9 to 10 hours. And I was like, I wouldn't be able to do this, And like, I realized, and when I would go home, I'd be like, I don't want to do this. What am I doing, So then my dad and I had a heart-to-heart on my 25th birthday, day after my 25th birthday. We were just sitting down. We're sitting at Applebee's at the bar, just, waiting to get our food, whatever, having a drink. And I just had a heart-to-heart with my dad. I was like, Dad, I don't want to do this. Whatever you guys, I've done everything you guys wanted me to do from day one. I was always like their overachieving kid. And I was like, I've always done that. Yeah, I've done things on the side that I always wanted to do, like football or, cheerleading or dance or acting, whatever. I did all of that on the side to keep myself sane. And I didn't realize I was doing that until I realized I was doing it. And I was like, I did that for myself, but all of this was done for you guys. And I was like, I don't want to be 40 with like kids running around and like me, not that there's anything wrong with that, just not my thing. And just, literally holding you guys accountable for my shitty life, that I don't want that life right now. This is not what I want. And I was like, and if I continue to pursue what you guys want me to do, I'm not going to be happy in life. And I don't know if there's an afterlife, if there's a second life, if this happens again, I don't know. And I want to live my life properly. Right. And I was like, I'm just so comfortable here. I just, what you guys want me to do, I do it. And I just go and do that. And I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. So he's like, what's your plan? And I said, I don't have one. I just know that I'm going to move out of here. And I guess Cali is where I go. And then he was like, I was like, or New York, because that's, another fashion capital. I could do that. It's fine. I just don't want to be doing medicine. I can't do it. And he was like, okay, all right. So maybe we go to California and, we scope it out one of these weeks and we see how you like it, or see, if we're comfortable just throwing you into, California. I was like, okay, sounds good. Let's do it. So we go home. We tell my mom the news, right? And my mom instantly tears. She was like, you're quitting. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're not going to school. Like, what's happening? Like, are you going to school out there? What are you doing? Yeah. And I was like, I'm just going to figure it out as I go. And my dad's like, listen, for her to stand up to us and say something like that, we know she's ready. Yeah. We know she's going to make something happen out of herself, because now she's like capable to, she's capable enough, or she's strong enough to say, I'm not doing this. I'm doing what I want to do. Yeah. So he's like, I feel like she'll make it. Whatever she does, she'll make it. Yeah. As my mom just wasn't confident, because she's your mother. She doesn't want you to just ruin your life, because she feels like, okay, education is guaranteed. This field is not. This industry is not guaranteed in any way. You find your own way. They feel we don't have any connections. There's nothing like that. Nobody's in this industry, so they're like, how are we just gonna throw her? You know. So yeah, my mom had her doubts, but she had her crying moments. But then my dad and I came here for 3 days. We scoped out LA.
Ooh, where'd you go? What hot spots?
We actually took one of those bus tours because I made him do it, right? Because I was like, Dad, I want to see all the people's houses.
I have yet to do a bus tour yet.
It's 2 hours.
Within
like an hour, we were like, my dad looked at me. He's like, I was like, I know, I'm sorry. Just one more hour. Like, that's it,
I want to do it one day.
Yeah, it was cool. I'll go with you. I'll go again. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I like doing stuff like that.
You're right down the road of it, too.
Yeah, I like doing stuff like that.
Okay.
So I was like, I like made my dad walk in the stars, like, down the stars and stuff like that. I like made him go to Mulholland Drive, like everything. Like made him do stuff like so pretty. But anyway, so we went back after those 3 days, told my mom it's official, I'm moving.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, you have a year to figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
And I figured it out within a couple of months, like, figured out how to survive here, live here by myself and whatever. And then now it's, it's up to me how long I want to be here. So
that's awesome.
So you left the degree, the business degree. Okay. Half undone.
I just left in general and just was done.
Any regrets?
No.
Okay.
No. I think all of that kind of shaped me to this, Yeah. It kind of was super scary. Because when I remember having a conversation with my sister, and this was like 2 days before I was leaving to come here, and she was talking to me, and she was like, Sim, like, this is really big. This is a scary thing that you're doing. No one has done this in our family. Like, we're all so, like, Florida is where we live. This is it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know. I was like, I'm terrified. She's like, well, how do you really feel? And I was like, oh, I feel great, whatever. And she's like, no, Sim, put your side, like your persona to the side, and like, what do you feel right now? Like, be real with me. I was like, I'm terrified. I am terrified because I'm going to a place I don't know. I know no one. I don't know how to get where I want to go. I'm just going, and I'm leaving something that I know. My comfort zone is my house, my parents. That's my safety blanket. If something doesn't work out, I know I can fall back and take over the business. We're good, But I wouldn't have that if I go here. The whole education, I'm leaving school to go. I'm getting rid of all that. Then I would have to like reapply. I don't know what the hell, I was like, but it's terrifying, but I think I'm going to do it. I want to do it. So I'm doing it, And she's like, Sim, I know you're going to just do it. I know if there's anybody that I know in my life that I've encountered in, at that time, 30 years. She's like, in my 30 years, it's going to be you who does it. So do it.
Yeah.
Like, whatever you put your mind to, you're going to do it. You're going to make it happen one way or another. And it's going to be like, we're going to see you progress. So go. So when she said that, I was like, you're right. And then, same thing my parents said, and my parents like fully support me, which is awesome,
That's great. Yeah. Cause it's hard.
What's that like?
Yeah. What's that like? Tell me about that.
No, cause the thing was there's moments where they like, they don't agree.
Yeah.
There's moments where they don't agree and stuff,
of course.
But I remember like the last thing I said to my parents before I left, I was like, hey, I don't need any other kind of support. I just need you guys to be there emotionally to support me, because that's the only support I'm going to need once I'm there.
Yeah.
100%. And that's literally, once I came here, I was like, shit, that's literally all I need is for them to, like an emotional support group, Yeah. And that's where your parents come in. Because if they don't support you, that's like one of the hardest things,
Yeah.
Especially when you have no one else supporting you.
Yeah.
So I was like, financially, whatever it is, I don't need it. I just need you guys to be there emotionally for me. And just understand, I know it's scary for you guys too, but understand that it's gonna, fruit of my labor. I'll get it.
Yeah.
You guys got it. At 40, Dad, now you own everything you own.
Yeah.
Well, now he's 50, but
yeah.
It was like at 50, whatever, it took you so long, but you're a self-made man. I want to be that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do that. So I was like, you did it. So just imagine you, same person.
Yeah.
Just
in a different
your girl,
experience.
your daughter, your little girl's doing it,
Yeah.
So like, let me do it, So then they're like, and my dad understood, and he was like, yeah, let's do it. You got it. So
he's like, I've taught her everything.
Yeah. He's like,
go carry on the legacy.
Yeah. Yep. In your own way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So did you grow up? All right. So the last part of our thing, we always discuss about like spirituality. I feel like you're fairly like a spiritual person, Do you consider yourself spiritual?
I do. I'm not religious much,
okay,
but I'm very spiritual. I believe in like good vibes and, good people, good energies. If I don't like a certain energy around me, I will remove myself from a situation. I trust that. I trust like, just people, good people.
So did you grow up in a religious practicing?
No, I think that's something my dad, like he instilled and us like, oh, you know, there is a religion.
Yeah.
We are Sikh,
Yeah.
you know, and but what he also told us was, you know, these are books that are written by other people. We don't know who they're written by at the end of the day, you know. So follow what you want to follow. He's like, as long as you're a good person and you do understand that, you know, there is like the universe and like the energy you put into the universe is what you're going to get back, you know.
Yeah.
Whether you believe that's God or that's another higher power, whatever it is, that's up to you. It's something my dad's very chill. He's like super laid off or whatever. Laid back, laid off.
Laid off. He's unemployed.
No. Laid back. I was like, wait, correct myself. No, so so it's something that he told us to just be a good person, help anybody that you can, you know, in the process, and just don't step on anybody to get to where you need to go, and you'll get there. And just be a good person.
What are some common misconceptions you think people have of Sikhs?
I don't really know. I don't think I've ever
Okay.
looked into that. There was a lot during the whole 9/11 stuff, you know, and in New York especially.
Yeah.
Just because Sikhs wear turbans.
The first person that was killed after 9/11
was in Arizona.
Yeah, was a Indian Sikh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And because, you know, nobody knows. They don't care. And you know, everybody's like one, you know, it's just one-minded. It's like, I'm just going to go and it's a brown person. I'm just going to mess him up, you know?
And when I say first person killed after, I'm not talking about like the first death after 9/11, but like the first hate crime that led to a death.
Yeah, there was a lot. And my uncle's, my mom's side of the family lives there. And my oldest mama, which is my uncle, he wears a turban. He's the only one in our family still that wears a turban. Yeah. And so his family was always afraid of him going out and going to work and stuff like that. So I think that there's a generalization there, but I don't think that I haven't really cared to sit there and be like, oh, I wonder what they think about Sikh. I don't care, you know? Yeah. I just
Have you studied the religion?
Yeah, I did. It's basically Sikhs are warriors. That's what they're known for. The last name Singh means lion, Kaur means princess. I don't care, but it's the religion itself. They're warriors, so they protect. They protect, and that's what they're known for: protecting, being good people, whatever it is. And that's kind of what my dad instilled in us: protect around you. So like, you won't see me get mad unless like someone around me or somebody I love, you know, is being talked down to or disrespected. Like, that's the only time you'll really see me get upset or whatever. So I think that's just something that my dad has always taught us. But yeah, they're warriors. They're people that are supposed to protect their own and protect everybody around them. And they're supposed to, you know, be good people and just be there for people. It's what I'm told.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what I want.
Wow.
Incredible, man.
Are you working on anything interesting?
Actually, I am working on...
Someone's got a feature.
Ooh, baby girl.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of cool. But it's supposed to be released on Amazon for sure.
Yeah.
When
next
did you do
year.
This? I did it April and May. It was being filmed in April and May.
What's it about? Can you tell us?
Yeah, it's called Wally Got Wasted. And it's basically another version of Superbad. So it's kind of like that, and you know, a party gone wrong. Wally gets wasted.
That's awesome.
And potentially dies.
You liked it? You liked working on it?
Yeah, I did. It was a whole different experience for me. You know, like, I've worked as an extra before, but I wasn't an extra. There was an extra standing in my spot while they were doing my hair. And I was like, this is crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. And then, you know, someone's fixing my ring. And I was like, I can do it myself, you know? Like, because that's me as you used to doing your own stuff. Yeah. But it was a different experience just being, like, behind the camera and someone's directing you constantly, like, you know, telling you exactly what to do. And, like big production, there was, like, you know, lights and all that stuff, like what you're not used to, you know?
Yeah, on a set.
So it was really cool. So I think that was a different experience, and I got to learn a lot. Yeah. You know, with like 60, 70 crew members being on set, and then you having to deliver your lines, and you're like, oh shit, you know? Yeah. I'm used to doing this, you know, in my apartment to like make videos or whatever, like with like maybe 2 people, you know, and that's it. But here it's like 60 people just watching you as you're, and you know, they're like, action, everyone stops, and they just stare, and you're like, you know, like, oh shit,
the pressure's on, can't F up.
But it's great. And and then they tell you, okay, you have just, you know, guys, we're going to try to do this in one take. Oh, okay, all of my lines, like, you know, but it's cool because that's something that was different to me. So, it's supposed to be released on Amazon, but they're going to shop it with studios. So it might actually get picked up, and he has, like, the director has his own demand. Like, if they do all of the promotions, then he'll give it to the studio, which will be released in theaters.
Hopefully, man. That'd be so exciting.
We'll see what happens. But it was cool. I got to play like a character between Gretchen Wieners and like Kylie Jenner.
I don't know who Gretchen Wiener is.
Mean Girls.
Yeah.
One of the.
Why do
one
you
of
say
the
yeah
fours.
like you knew
I
that?
don't know, Mean Girls. People used to call me that Indian dude in that.
Kevin
movie.
G.
Kevin G.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
You know that.
I literally
Yeah.
just watched this video. It's like, where's Kevin G right now?
Where is he? Yeah, right.
So what happened is after Mean Girls, this guy on set told him, "Hey, I read this book and you are the main guy in the book." And he was like, "Let me guess, it's Indian." He was like, "Yeah," and it was the Book of Life of Pi. So this guy reads the book and he's like, "This is I gotta play this role."
Yeah.
So he drops everything, goes to India, goes to the school that like the main the character goes to, and like the seminary or whatever, and he studies and he's like going back and forth between America and India for like trying to like get this role. 5 to 6 directors are attached to the project.
Yeah.
Finally, Ang Lee gets it, and Ang Lee's like, "I don't want an actor." And then he picks that other kid.
He picks that little kid.
And-
But wouldn't Kevin G be aged out of the role by that time?
I don't know.
I feel like he's
the
still-
kid was like
yeah.
13,
Super
No.
young.
but looked like he was 10.
Yeah. No, the guy in the film definitely looked like he was like late teens.
Yeah.
Regardless,
At least like a 14, 15
yeah.
year old.
Yeah.
So this guy, heartbroken, ran away from home, went to Germany. And this, for those of you who don't know,
Kevin
this,
G?
yes, it became a nanny.
Kevin, where are you?
And then after that, he came back to New York and he does chalk calligraphy for coffee shops.
Shit, so Life of Pi broke this dude.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But he wrote a book and now he
wrote a book?
He wrote a book, a
Okay.
memoir.
Okay, so
Wow.
Yeah, that's the, yeah.
No, I don't.
I'm sure he's fine.
Read his memoir. I don't know, but
Damn.
but yeah,
Have
it was
you
one of
read
those. No, why would I read
I
his?
don't know. You're like, you
memoir
said
about
read
chalk?
his memoir, so I was like, okay, maybe you read
And
it.
then I discovered Chuck. And you're like, damn.
Yo, he probably gets a lot out just by like his pictures probably speak for whatever he's feeling at the time,
True.
like whatever he's writing or whatever he's creating.
He had to
you
find
know?
another avenue to
Yeah.
exactly.
It's heartbreaking, and he says he's still auditioning and
Yeah.
trying to get into the business. But yeah, I was scrolling through Facebook like an hour or two ago, and it was like those like Tech Insider, like those like videos that just
Like, where are they now?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, let me watch this, and I was like, okay.
You start crying.
You know what's funny?
Because you're like, it's too close.
No,
It's hitting too close to home.
I'm watching it and it's like this it's like Indian guy like rapping whatever. I was like, what if that was Asif?
It could have been.
I was like, that's like such a huge cultural like
It could have been.
person
Could have been.
where it was like, but then like you would have continued doing whatever. I don't think you would have dropped everything.
I have stand up and other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, so Kevin G. I don't know how he started.
I don't know.
Gretchen.
It was Gretchen Wieners.
Yeah.
And then other projects that I'm working on, they're just more into like martial arts and bringing that into my channel. So that those take a little bit like longer to do.
Choreography.
Choreography?
And stuff like
I
that.
had to do
like
some
stunt
choreography
training.
on my show this year.
Super cool.
And that shit's hard.
It's so hard. You do 10 seconds. Like, you can go hours like
Yeah.
just being in class and like working. But when you do like 10 seconds of just stunt fight, like stunt choreo, it's like because everything's so much bigger, you use your entire body. You feel 10 seconds like as you've been doing it for half an hour.
Yeah.
You do 10 seconds and they're like
exhausting.
reset. You're like, no.
Yeah.
No thanks. But
I
I'm
had
working on a couple of those
I
now.
had the only Indian stunt guy in the South Pacific.
I saw a picture of that on Instagram.
And all of
Like
Australia and all of
New Zealand.
Like your
New
stunt
Zealand.
double?
Yeah.
My stunt double's white.
Most of my...
I have never used her, but she's there in case I need her.
Yeah.
But she's white. Her name's Caitlin.
I had the
I don't
one
know
guy.
why.
That's why. So
Team
they like
light skin.
they added shit with me because they're like, oh, we found an Indian guy.
Stunt double.
So they're like, we have to add.
So what
things
do
with
you do? You fight someone or do you just like do parkour?
We have like a big like a group
war.
fight thing at the
That's
end of the show.
so cool.
It's really cool.
That's so cool. Once I started doing it, like I've done 2 of those videos on my channel, 3.
Yeah.
And they're super, like they're just fun to do.
People like
once
that.
you-
It's different,
yeah,
too, yeah.
Yeah, and it's something that like there's like one other person who's doing that right now, And I was like, I've done martial arts since I was 12. Like, why am I not putting that into my videos?
Have you ever had to kick someone's ass? Like in real life?
I've gotten into fights in school.
Okay.
Did you go like you went full dojo on their ass?
No, I never.
Dojo.
You know what's so crazy? I never did.
You might call it a dojo.
I don't think, no, I realized that every time I've actually gotten into a fight, I've never kicked anyone or like karate chopped or like, not that you do karate chops in class,
No,
but like
no.
I've never done anything like that. It was always a punch, and I realized I never.
Okay, walk us
used
through
karate.
this. Walk us through
Yeah,
this
what
fight.
happened? Tell us.
Okay, my first fight was in first grade.
Okay, forget that. Skip
Yeah,
that.
fuck that
My
fight.
second
Yeah.
fight was in fourth grade.
Skip
Nah,
that.
fuck that fight. Yeah.
Third fight was in 8th grade.
Okay, let's talk about this one.
Let's go there.
Okay, so.
What was it about?
So 8th grade, I was in football. I was playing football,
Uh-huh.
flag football.
Co-ed or?
Co-ed.
Okay.
No, this one wasn't. I played co-ed in college.
Okay, this is women.
This is just girls.
Yeah.
And I was playing football, and this one girl, you know, she came at me with
Extra hard.
yes, and you know, you block.
Yeah.
You block.
Yeah.
But she came at me where she blocked, but she put her elbows
Oh,
up. So I
pointy,
went right into her, right, and it basically looked like that. Like I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
fell over, right, and
Yeah.
I heard. Ooh, like, and you know,
Yeah,
like, and I was
they
like,
know.
and like 8th grade, I was like, I just got done with the whole racism thing,
Yeah.
like, F you, I'm gonna mess you up, right?
Yeah.
But I was one of those people. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it on the field.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit there and like try to fight her right there and then. I'll do it on the field. So then, like, you know, she had the ball or whatever. I waited till she got like really close to the end zone, and then I went after her. I can run, so I
Yeah.
went like after her, right? And then right after, in like so close to the end zone, I took her stupid flag, and I knew that was gonna hurt her that much more, right? Because I was like right at the end zone. She was right there.
Yeah.
So I took that flag and whatever, and did it, and I just picked it up and I just like threw it on the floor and walked away.
Ooh.
That pissed her off big time, 100%. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna mess her up after the game. So then after the game, my grandpa actually came to my game, which he's my
Very
biggest
nice.
supporter. He's my
Yeah.
biggest supporter.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
He's the one. He calls me Simba. We have like a
Great.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
it's that relationship. He's my number one.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he came to the game, whatever, and I knew that there was gonna be a fight at the end. So like right after the game, as it was like ending, I went straight to the bleachers, grabbed my grandpa, I was like, go home, right? And I was like, he's like, oh, aren't you gonna come? I was like, you know, I have to change and like we have to celebrate, like we won, whatever. So sent him home because I knew it was about to be a fight. Then we
You're
walked out.
You don't want to see this shit.
No, I just like my grandpa would have jumped in. Like you can't do that, you know.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
older. I don't need you to jump in.
Yeah.
And he would have 100%. And so, anyways, the girl came and you know she was like said her shit and you know hit me and then I hit her back and at one point she bit my leg.
Yeah.
How?
Fights
This wasn't
in
in
middle
8th
school,
grade.
Fights in
Like,
middle school, high school.
She like
they get
bit
weird,
my leg.
You know what I mean?
That was the only time I actually did kick a girl.
You kicked her.
I kicked her because she was biting my leg, and
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was happening. Because who bites someone's leg? Like, what
Yeah.
is that?
Fight.
And I just looked down, and she was biting my leg, and I just like kicked her face because I was like, "Get out of my! What are you doing?"
She was improvising and
Yeah, and
she
then
was-
like a couple of other girls jumped in, and then the fight was broken off, and you know.
Yeah.
Okay, that wasn't as
I've never
interesting as
gotten
I wanted.
suspended. Yeah.
I was
Wow.
Senior year, that fight was.
Okay,
Okay,
we
that's
should have
good.
just skipped this 8th grade one. Let's
Fuck
go to the
8th
senior year.
grade, Fuck 8th grade.
Senior
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
So-
Although bites, she took like the
Bites.
walking
That
Sure,
it was
sure.
it was
I
kind of
like that.
weird. Yeah,
Yeah, she's like-
they were already preparing for that, I
Yeah,
guess.
she's
She
like,
was
I'm
like-
gonna take something to go.
Like, till this day, I have her bite mark on my leg.
No, I
Nom, nom, nom.
don't.
Yeah.
Thankfully, no.
Yeah.
It was my senior year in high school.
Uh-huh.
And it was lunch, and I was walking away. It was two of my cheerleader friends were just going back to class. This one girl comes in with two of her little friends. They weren't little; they were very large.
Yeah.
They walked in like larger in
Yeah, yeah.
mass size. Walked out, whatever, behind us, and one of them was like, "Hey, Indian bitch."
Oh god.
No.
And I had two white girls next to me, so I was like, obviously it's about me,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
so,
yeah.
and this is like, I went through
One of the
all
girls wasn't like, I've been tanning.
She's like,
Stop.
thankfully I'm brown.
Maybe.
It must be me.
Yeah.
And she turns, I'm actually white. I'm
Yeah,
just tan.
yeah,
No, no. What happened was, she said that,
Yeah.
and whatever. And I just went through all of high school without a fight. Like I was good.
You're
I
like,
never
this
was
has been
late to
great.
school.
Yeah, yeah.
And I turned around and I was like, what's up? And it was some sophomore chick. And she was like, are you Simmi? I was like, yeah. And then she goes, something about her boyfriend and her having a fight, and her boyfriend said that if you ever cheated on somebody, it would be with me. I don't know who your boyfriend is. I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, and then I was like, why are you trying to? I don't know him. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know who you are. We've never met. So
Yeah.
why are you getting mad at someone that shouldn't even exist in your life? That's
Yeah.
like someone telling somebody's like, oh, I would mess with Jennifer Aniston or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I would be like, shit, go.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she was like, yeah, my boyfriend, this is, and I was like, and I was, at that point, I thought this was such a stupid, petty argument that of course I was a smart mouth about it, right? So I didn't she was cussing me out. I didn't say anything to her because I thought that was stupid. So all I said to her was, I was like, let me know who your boyfriend is. I'll let you know if it's true or not. And that pissed her off, obviously. She was like, this, and then Blah, blah, went off. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to class. I have stuff to do. Have a good time, whatever. I turned around to go to class. And then one of her friends like, oh, you're just going to let her go? You're just going to let her go? And then she turned around and she's like, her mom's probably a hoe like her too, so F her. That's when I was like, don't talk about my family. You know, what are you doing? So then I turned around and I was like, okay, normally I wouldn't. But I was like, you want to say that to my face? You know, so then we got into that whole argument. And then she's like, bitch, I will hit you. And I was like, go for it. I was like, I would love for you to hit me, you know. But she did, and I didn't realize until she hit me. I was
punch,
like,
kick?
no, punch right here.
Ooh,
and I didn't realize that she did it until it happened. I was like, oh shit, I think I went too far, right?
But she hit me. Oh god.
Yeah, I was like, shit. I was like, you gotta do something
real
back.
now.
Yeah. So then I hit her, and I accidentally hit her right here. Messed up her nose.
Break. You
she hit
broke
the
a
floor.
girl's nose.
She hit the floor, but she wasn't like, meh. You know, she hit the floor. She was just like, she was crying.
Okay.
You know, she was crying and there was blood. And that's when I realized I did something. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, you know. And then I didn't realize how hard I hit her. I just got mad after being hit. I guess it's adrenaline, you know?
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, a dean is like grabbing me and he looks and he's like, Simmi? And I was like, it was Dean Hawkins. To this day, he looked at me and he was like, I would never thought I would grab you of all people. It was like 2 weeks before graduation. We weren't allowed to get in trouble that entire month. We wouldn't be able to walk, not go to prom. I didn't give a shit, whatever, prom. But I wasn't going to be able to walk. And I was number 3 in my school, in my class. And my parents were looking forward to this, you know? So I was like, how am I going to tell my parents I got into a fight? I could tell my mom, they called you a hoe. That's why I did this. She wouldn't give a shit. She'd be like, so what? Go tell your teacher. That's literally my mom. She's like, go tell your teacher that they did that. I was like, okay.
Be a snitch,
Yeah, but then I was like, no, that's not how this works. But anyways.
You gave her street justice.
Which she does not understand.
It's a shame that World Star Hip Hop wasn't around that time.
Right. That should have been a thing at the moment.
Yeah.
But what happened afterwards, I was supposed to be suspended for either 4 days of ISS or 1 day of OSS. But then my football coach, I was doing cheerleading as well, but cheerleading was over at the time, so football was still happening. We had a game the next Saturday, and then graduation was that Thursday after. So he came in and he's like, Simmi, like of all people, like why'd you guys? And they were like, oh, she got into a fight, and there was like an ice pack on my face. It felt pretty cool. I was like, oh, senior year, like hey, everybody thought I was like like the nerdy, like cute little brown girl, and I was like with like an ice pack, like into a fight. Cool.
So what?
It's normal. But anyway, so he came in and he was like, why her? And they were like, she got into a fight, and he's like, okay, walk me through it. I was like, she said this, I said this, she hit me once, I hit her once. And he was like, you hit her once. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, no, that's self-defense. And he's like, so never mind. So you guys can't suspend her.
Wow.
So she can walk, she can't do whatever. He's like, and the rest of it, I'll punish her for hitting somebody or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So we always had conditioning after school right before our practice would start, and it would be 3 miles of running, and he made me do an extra 4 and pick up trash like on the field or whatever, like paper and stuff.
But that
was it. I was able to walk, and my parents didn't know. And when I came home with like like a little bruise and stuff, my mom looked at me, she was like, what is that, and I was like, I fell in football, right? Whatever. And she's like, isn't it like flag, like this much? I was like, I just got tackled somehow, I fell, tripped over myself, whatever, I just made something up. My dad looks at me, he's like, we'll talk later. I was like, okay. But I told my dad, and I was like, Dad, she hit me first, she also called mama hoe, and then Dad was like, good, I'm glad you took care of it, but Mom would literally been like, no, you should have told the teachers around you. There wasn't time to tell the teachers, Mom, like they just hit you gotta head back.
Jeez, well,
what a time, man.
You made it.
Yeah, you've gone through.
I'm here.
You're here. You survived.
You survived. You went through a lot. I feel like you've told me the India story.
Because I'm thriving.
I feel like I've heard that one before where you went to India. Maybe somebody else whose parents said the same thing to them. I don't know, regardless.
It was me.
Yeah.
It was me.
Probably.
It was me. We've talked about this.
You've gone through a lot, and you've have a good share of experiences, and now you're doing what you want to do. It's exciting.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
You're doing awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
Thanks
coming by.
Thanks for having me. I really didn't think I was
great.
supposed to be on the show. I swear, I thought I was just swinging by.
I was like, hey, you're free to swing. I didn't mean like just to come watch.
Yeah, I was like,
hey,
cool,
come watch us
cool.
talk to somebody else.
No, because I've said this to you before. I was like, I said it. I was like, yo, I liked your show. I like that part. Yes, I have.
You've never in your life.
Yes, I have.
I
think we talked about it in January.
No, we did. Never in your life discussed. We've never.
No, but never being on the show.
No, but you've never mentioned.
I've discussed your show.
You haven't.
In January.
No,
yes, I have.
No, you
you didn't even know that you hugged me in January. So let's
That's
just
true.
not.
That's
okay. Why do you make it sound like I did something?
Because you hugged hugged me.
Okay, first of all, I don't hug people.
Exactly, but Ali hugged me.
Second of all,
and he admitted to it
he's
too.
He's out here hugging people now, guys.
He actually hugged me, and even everybody looked at you like.
Nobody.
Not everybody, but Yusuf did.
Nobody.
Yusuf did.
Nobody did anything. Second of all, we never talked about
yes,
the
we did.
podcast.
We talked about it.
You should just
100%.
punch him after this is done.
Yeah, turn off the cameras. Let's make this happen.
Anyway,
go back to my senior year of high school. Bring it on.
Thank you for coming.
Oh,
by.
you boxed though.
I did until.
Oh, this is
Ali
the last thing.
Ali
this is
could
the
mess
last
me
thing.
up.
You started boxing.
Yeah, but
You
Ali
did
could mess me
boxing.
up.
Yeah.
Ali and I have gone.
I have a lot. Yeah, I brought her. I remember I was telling you because we had Alex here yesterday. So I took Alex one day and he got me in trouble. And then I brought. I told him I was like, come through, and it was I think it was like during like maybe Thanksgiving break or it was a little bit before.
Yeah.
In 2015.
Yeah.
But sadly, the K-Town Boxing Club closed.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah.
That's why
I was so sad. I don't know. I really.
What's there now?
A real estate. No. Like apartment finder. Like they'll help you find an apartment in LA.
Dang.
Urban apartments, some crap. And then I went to this other spot in right by the Grove, and they were like, it's a really cool spot. See, K-Town Boxing Club, it was like this like just raw, grimy little boxing hole. And you could like walk in with like basketball shorts on and like a tank top. Some guys would take off their shirts, whatever. Like it was just like a spot to work out. This other spot I went to was like, I walked in and everyone was like in like Adidas, Under Armour, fitted athletic wear, and I'm like, like what?
This is not me.
Yeah, I was like, I left after a month. I was like, I can't.
But I mean, like shout out to Adidas, but like still.
Shout out to Adidas
like
for our
still,
sponsor.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But still,
but I can't be wearing that. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do wild card because it's right next to my house. Yeah, it's like right there.
Look
It's on
at you,
Santa Monica.
Wild
Wild card's legit.
Yeah,
it's so good. My trainer's JUCO, and he's
Okay.
like he is one of like the he's been a world champion.
Yeah,
before.
dude.
It's
So
really dope.
for those of you who don't know, Wild Card's the gym where like Manny Pacquiao trained. His Manny Pacquiao's coach Freddie Roach owns the gym. Amir Khan used to train there when he was with Freddie Roach. I considered going there, and then I was like,
It's like in North Hollywood?
No, it's in Hollywood. It's right in the.
It's like on Santa Monica and.
It's like a couple blocks
Vine.
away. Yeah, a couple blocks
Santa
away.
Monica
Oh,
and Vine.
okay.
So it's literally just walk there from my place.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna become a lethal weapon.
They actually asked me when I first like
Do you
JUCO
wanna
asked me. He
actually
was like,
fight?
yeah. He was like, oh, so like, what do you think about getting in the ring? I was like, oh, no, I'll get in the ring, you
Yeah.
know, whatever. And he's like, no, like to train. He's like, because I feel like I can, you know. And I was like, no, I'm good, because
Yeah.
he used to train like Mayweather and stuff.
Yeah.
So he was like, you know, I feel like I can train you, and I feel like you have that, like. And I was like,
Yeah.
You're not trying to get punched in the face
no,
repeatedly?
no.
I mean, you should do one amateur fight.
No, I think I'll pass. I don't.
Well, you should be quick on your feet and don't get hit.
No, I'm doing it just because like it's one of those things I've always wanted to do.
Yeah, but like imagine all of us turning up to your first amateur
Oh,
fight.
man, that'd be kind of great.
That'd be really cool. But like,
Yeah.
what if I get knocked out?
Then
Like,
train hard not to get knocked out.
Okay, knocked out.
Develop a tough chin.
Did you hear about Mayweather and
Yeah.
oh my
McGregor.
God. Oh my God.
That's going to be nothing. I don't
Yeah.
know why everyone's
Why?
like
It's
pumped
gonna be
about
so
it.
exciting.
No, it's not. He's not going to land
They're
one
both-
punch on Mayweather. 0 punches.
They're both businessmen, and they're both.
Mayweather
they know how
has
to put
made
up.
a career of avoiding getting hit.
True story.
He
True
will.
story.
He will not
True
get.
story.
That guy's not a trained boxer. He's not going to get one punch on this dude.
But
Yeah.
it's McGregor.
I think it's
Nothing.
it's a wrestling show. It's a WWE.
It's a WWE like
wrestling.
the Undertaker.
They know they're
fights
gonna make a
Mayweather.
lot of-
They're gonna make a
They're
lot of
gonna make
money.
a lot of
They're
money.
gonna. It's gonna be more entertaining watching everything that happens leading up to the fight.
For sure.
But it's not going to be a fight. The
Yeah.
fight itself is going to be the most boring part of the entire
Yo,
thing.
that's how I felt by Mayweather and,
And Pacquiao.
Pacquiao.
That
Oh
was
my God. The whole time I was
lame.
like,
I'm so glad I bootlegged that.
Because that's Mayweather's whole thing. His
Yeah.
like you can't hit him.
But
That's why he's 58 years old and is undefeated. You can't hit him. It's crazy.
he's so
That's
cool.
his whole thing.
I don't.
You
I mean,
can't hit him.
But
But the fights become boring. But
Yeah.
they're like,
well,
I
I
think
mean,
people
like,
want like a fight, and he's boxing.
yeah.
That's the
And
difference.
here's the thing. He was like, he was like, the whole point of boxing is not to get hit.
Exactly.
But like, you still want someone to get hit.
Yeah.
Hit somebody.
Because now we're like in UFC world.
Yeah.
Where like you want to see
Well,
someone's
not even
brains
that. I
fall
mean,
out
like,
of their
Right.
Not
Oh
even
my
that,
God.
like,
That's
like even Muhammad Ali, you know, like, and Tyson, they would get hit, but not like, but they would still deliver knockout punches, you
But
know?
they're heavyweights. Mayweather's not.
Yeah, he's a,
Mayweather's like our size.
yeah.
If people forget
Yeah.
that.
Really?
They're our
Yeah,
size.
he's, yeah, Mayweather's tiny. He's a tiny
I
little
didn't know
man.
that.
So he
Yeah.
fights what, welterweight?
Welterweight. Yeah, that's like 145, if that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's tiny.
They just look big because they're both big. It's like when you watch basketball and everyone looks the same size.
Yeah, and then when you see them in person, you're
oh,
like,
dude.
that's a giant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the smallest dude in the court is like a foot tall.
And all the Rocky films, they would get people that were like Stallone type to give Stallone that big persona. Tom Cruise as well, you know.
Yeah. Because Tom Cruise is tiny.
Yeah,
apparently.
Tom Cruise and Sylvester Stallone are pretty short guys.
I didn't know that.
And so when they're on film,
it's
they got
magic of cameras. You just put it on the ground and face it up.
Yeah, and then they cast people like the same height or just a little shorter, so you know.
Just so he doesn't.
He's not overshadowed.
Got it.
But Tom Cruise is a G, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's coming up with another one. Mission Impossible, another one's happening.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
just
like
casted
he's
for it.
he's been going down lately. He's been going down.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, he's getting older.
But like,
what are you gonna do?
If you're getting older, stop doing action films, man. Go back to your roots. Go back to do like real like acting films.
Was he like a romantic guy?
That bad.
It was terrible.
You hated
I watched it with.
Yeah, we went to the Chinese
hate
theater.
it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it.
I think Yusuf fell asleep, and I think it was you fell asleep, and he was on his phone, and I was just sitting there.
I had
like,
2 friends that came too as well, and it
on
was,
the other side
I was
of
like,
me.
I get it. It's an action movie. What did you want?
But like you can't like explain to me what the film was about.
Just
Exactly.
fucking guy
You don't even
solving
remember.
I
the
remember
mission.
the girl in the beginning, like the
I
girl
don't.
who played like with her cool dress, like because I was like, yo,
I
I'd
don't
love to be
remember.
her. You know, one day I'm gonna be the person who like swings down the thing with like her dress and is like, yeah, and lands it, and then is like, I'm gonna kill you.
I don't even remember how the girl looks like. I don't even remember.
I followed her on Twitter.
Oh, well, that makes
But
sense.
that's what all
She's
of
an
those
action
movies
chick.
are.
No, man. Mission Impossible 1, everyone remembers Mission Impossible 1. They remember Emilio Estevez on the elevator, and the elevator goes up, and they remember Tom Cruise putting the gum on the fish tank and running out. They remember him, like, hovering over. Brian De Palma directed it. So, like, him hovering over. There were, like, these landmarks. Even
But that was the first one, though.
Even Mission Impossible 2 with John Woo.
Yeah.
People remember that,
Right.
you know?
Well, this last one had, you know, the part where he's like hanging out the
building?
the airplane in the beginning.
That was cool.
That was a
And
moment.
off the
We
top of
remember.
the building and all that shit.
Maybe if you guys didn't fall asleep in the movie,
No,
it would have been
I was
fine.
watching
I
it.
was
No.
watching.
The
We were
film,
watching
the
it.
film was intense, and it wasn't. I just like, okay, first of all, I love Tom Cruise. I've literally, there's an 18-minute video on YouTube of all the clips of Tom Cruise running from all of his films, and I've watched
Of
it
him running?
twice, because Tom Cruise runs in every film,
He loves running.
and I love watching him run.
What? Okay, let's end this.
I don't give a shit
All right,
how that
baby.
sounds. I love watching Tom Cruise run.
I love watching.
Why?
him.
Because he got those fat ass ankles. That's why. That's why.
And Ali has a fetish.
Oh god, that ankle.
Thank
Hashtag
you.
ankle fetish.
Yes.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank
We
you for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
Of course, man.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my god.
It is so much better with this stuff.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a.
So I think this was like one of those episodes where I just laughed so much throughout it. We just had a great time. We had a fun time. And I'm glad you're able to stick around, and thank you for watching. So next week, I don't know who's going to be next week. We're just trying to, you know, we do it. We see what happens. I am going to we are going to film the interview and the event on Thursday. So if you can't make it to LA and you can't, you know, make it to the event with HBO, all cool, no worries. I'm going to upload it anyway, but we would still love to see you guys there. That's about it, man. You know, Asif's not here. I'm going to try to keep this short right now. I really have nothing much to say. Check us out on iTunes. If you're listening to this on iTunes, just take like 5 seconds. Go leave like a nice comment. Be like, yo, this is the dopest podcast on the internet. And then give us like a 5, 8, 10, whatever the max amount of stars you can give me on iTunes. Please give me those stars. So when other people are just like, hey, let me check out podcast. Oh, what? This thing has like 1 million stars, highest rated reviewed podcast on iTunes. We got to check this out. And if you're on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave us a hate comment. Tell us what you hate about us. We want to know. Please build my insecurities, you know? So thank you for watching. I can't thank you guys enough, because with you guys watching and supporting and listening, it just allows us to create more and put out more content. Bye. This was literally the most like unprepared intro and outro that I've like ever done. I don't know what the hell I'm doing or saying. I feel like right when I like step away and begin editing this, I'm going to be like, oh crap, there was like 80 things I forgot to mention. I forgot to mention this and that. I mean, we got to shout out to our sponsor. That's all that matters. Wendy's, if you want to sponsor more episodes, we still got your swag. Hit us up, Wendy's. Anyway, shit, I'm rambling. Thank you. Goodbye.